Hi! Welcome to Best of the Week.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Tara, and we're here from Progress, Texas to talk to you about the news we saw this week, things we really liked. If you've been tuned in before, I think we're going to take a little bit even a more casual atmosphere with this video, so we'll let y'all kind of comment any questions you have and stuff like that, and then make sure to subscribe on our website at progresstexas.org/subscribe if you don't get our emails yet.
That's right, and keep posted. We have some fun stuff coming up next week with South by, but we're going to get into it today.
Yes.
So today is International Women's Day.
Woo.
Go girl,
Woo, woo, woo.
go girl.
Yes.
Today we're celebrating women across the world, and I think what's really important, like, as women, we are the global majority, right? Like, there's just so much that women drive. They drive our economy. When it comes to unpaid labor, like raising children and doing stuff around the house, like, girl, we do it all. And so we just really want to make space for women today and every day here at Progress.
Yeah.
Who are some of your what is it called? Women crushes?
Women crushes?
Yeah.
Yes. I think I would be remiss if I did not talk about AOC and what she's doing to, I think, bring women to the forefront and bring young women and women of color. And I think she's just doing like a really cool job of like making that known and making space for other women around her.
Absolutely.
As well. Yeah.
AOC all day. AOC all day.
What about you? Who are some of the women that you're crushing on?
I love State Rep Erin Zwiener.
Whoop.
I think she's so, like, one of the things that I really love about her is how she brings her baby everywhere, right? Like, I think we need to see just more mothers out there doing that work, and I know we can't always. And I love that, like, I love the mood she brings, and she's a member of the LGBTQ caucus, like, just like wonderful stuff.
Yes, and I remember learning, I didn't know this until last weekend, but one of my friends told me that usually state reps have like this back office with like a big wooden desk, and it's like very like, oh, welcome to my office, and like really
I'm the
like
boss.
Yes, and instead she turned that back office area at the Capitol into a nursery. And so her office is like then with like the rest of her staff, and it's very much like a co-working environment and stuff like that. But like her nursery has space, and like I think there was a news article where she had brought her baby to work, and she does that regularly, but she was like, this isn't news, this is just me like caring for my child like a normal human being. And that was really cool.
Yeah, and it's like, I think I agree it's not news, but it's also like how we're shaping our workplace to fit the lives of actual people and of women. And I think that's just amazing. We need to do that more.
Totally. I completely agree. Yes, as progressives. Someone else who's also local, who I am having a crush on right now, is Zoraima Perales. I think that's how you say her last name. She works at Texas Freedom Network, and she's part of the Trust, Respect, Access Coalition, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But she is such a good advocate for abortion access in our state and making sure that she shares her story in a way that is powerful and is really impactful and makes a big difference. It's really cool.
She is a boss.
Yes.
She is a boss and is doing some awesome stuff. And you can see her remarks from an event that we had earlier this week, a press conference at the Capitol, and she shares her own personal abortion story, which is amazing.
Yes. Do you have any other women you want to shout out?
I think one of the things that I will shout out is just how much, like, since I became involved in Texas politics, I have seen like more Latinas in office, and I think that's a really cool thing. And I think we're just seeing more, like, we're finally filling up the Capitol and our elected leaders as to look like us, right? Like the people who actually live and work here in Texas. And I think that's a really amazing thing that we need to just keep pushing on.
Totally. Because
I think, you know, we talk about the Year of Women, and I think part of that, it's around like the Me Too movement, which should be like, we should definitely talk about the struggles of women and what happened to women. And I think there's something really powerful there that like women can come up and be leaders with or without trauma, right? And like we need to always, like, we have so much power. And I just like what's happening right now and how women are leading is beautiful and amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you. We worked a lot this week with the Trust, Respect, Access Coalition and with a lot of our partners. And we hosted a press conference on Wednesday morning to announce our proactive abortion agenda. And I know you emceed that press conference, but I'd also like to know, like, what are some of the parts? Well, one, can you explain what Trust, Respect, Access is?
Sure.
And then what are some of the things that we really want to see from our legislators, especially as today's the last day to file bills, too?
Today's the day, and I'm sure folks at the Capitol are just running around trying to get those good bills filed, and we're going to see some bad bills filed, too. So the coalition is called Trust, Respect, Access, and it's a group of organizations across Texas that are working to fund abortions, provide abortions, and fight for reproductive rights, and Progress Texas is a proud partner of this coalition. And what we are seeking to do at the Trust, Respect, Access Coalition is to do three things. We want to restore the trust that Texans can make their own decisions when it comes to their body and their reproductive health care, right? Like, that is just so important for like our laws to reflect that people can make these decisions, because we know that lawmakers just don't trust women, right? And so we're restating that and we're showing it. Respect, like just respecting people's ability to do what they need to do.
Yes, not only people, I think, seeking abortions, but also the healthcare providers and the people who have this knowledge of what is like an appropriate healthcare procedure. We should respect their knowledge and respect their expertise, especially when lawmakers think that they might know better than doctors or something like that. So
yes, and right now there's the ACLU of Texas is advocating for this bill called Marlisa's Law, and it's to make sure that the state doesn't interfere with someone's decision when it comes to what happens when you're faced with a decision after death and you're a family member who has to make a decision about someone's reproductive care. And that's huge. That's like a huge thing. And so we're fighting to make sure that people feel trusted in that process. And then making sure that folks have access not just to abortion, but to like contraceptives and extending Medicaid coverage, and making sure people have the reproductive health care at every point in their lives, right? Like there's just so many ways that these laws affect people, and we want to make sure that people have that access.
Totally.
From like 16 to 60 to over, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it, but
yeah, because we need to be fighting for proactive legislation.
I think so often we get caught up fighting against bills that take away access to healthcare and take away Texans' access to make their own decisions, like we talked about. And so I'm really excited and really happy to see this proactive list of like, these are all of the things that would make people's lives better, which is really, it's inspiring to see. And also it's really cool because this coalition is also majority women who are leading this work and leading this advocacy work. They are the ones who are funding abortions, helping provide health care to people, as well as meeting with legislators and saying like, no, like this is what we're going through and this is really important. So
women on the front lines.
Yes, always.
Every day.
Yes, and so just overall with Trust, Respect, Access, what's next for us?
I think what's next for us is making sure that we continue to push this agenda forward, right? We know there's this like narrative that's been pushed by the media that anti-abortion reps are getting what they want, but that's just not true. And we have a lot of power as advocates in making sure that these bills stop. But we also want to make sure good bills like being able to provide contraceptive care, or making sure that women who just had a baby have Medicaid, right, for a full year after that, in case like something happens, because we know that's how like a majority of like Black women die. That's maternal mortality, right? And so there's just so many ways we can advance this, and we're asking you all to join us as these bills come up, because girl, we got to take care of ourselves, and we got to take care of each other.
Yes, totally. Put your mask on first, and then you know, take care of everybody else around you. So yeah, we did have a busy week with that, and coming up we have some exciting stuff too. I think next week for Best of the Week we'll be coming to you from South by Southwest, which is happening today in Austin and starting today, and it's going to get a little bit crazy, but we're excited to learn with you about really what is next for politics, for our movement. How can we grow our movement? And so it'll be really cool.
I'm really excited because this is the first time I've done South by in a while, and I know you're a music, like, is it appropriate to call you like a music nerd in the scene?
I feel like, you know, I'm like not as nerdy as other people, so I don't like. I feel like I enjoy music.
I think you're in the scene.
Thank you.
You're in the scene. So like, I'm really excited because this is the first time I'll get to do that. I haven't done that in a while, and so I just want to go. Like, that's the whole reason South by came to Austin was the music scene. Yeah. And now it's kind of evolved to like this whole interactive education,
tech, and
politics is a part of the mix now. So
yeah, we'll see what people say. There's a lot of big names coming in, so we'll have to keep an eye on that too.
All these presidential candidates.
Yes. And if you do get our emails, you know that every week we do a face palm for best of the week, something that was just like incredibly unbearable. And this week's face palm we found at the beginning of the week, and we were like immediately like, this is our face palm. This is going to be it. And this week's face palm goes to Greg Abbott.
Here's to you,
for tweeting a photo that goes into, I think, an issue that a lot of women deal with a lot of the times. And I think his tweet might have been well-meaning, but it is about a bill that would make sexual harassment on social media more of a crime, I think, and kind of like tackle that issue on just inappropriate images. What he tweeted out, though, itself had an inappropriate image on it. So, Greg, thank you for not only trying to fight sexual harassment, but also taking a part in it. Like, that's not okay.
It like still shows, because I think this is so Democrats have been doing things around sexual harassment and revenge porn for years. Like Mary Gonzalez had State Rep Mary Gonzalez had a bill, State Senator Sylvia Garcia had a bill to make sure that we made it a criminal offense when someone used your intimate photos that you had personally shared with someone with consent as a way to get revenge on you. You can now report people, and there's a police report. Right, and so Dems have been doing that for years, pushing like good legislation. But now you see like these Republicans saying like, we want to help women. And it still shows how out of touch they are.
Yes, absolutely. And so the tweet itself says, from a reporter, says like, in promoting a bill tackling a legitimate policy issue, the governor highlights this unfortunate photo to all of his Twitter followers. So thanks, Greg.
Check it out. Subscribe to our newsletter.
Yes, please.
And just share it out, and let's just all this is who Greg Abbott is.
Truly is. His inner thoughts and feelings.
Out of touch with Texans.
Well, thank you so much. I had a lot of fun today. I think we will see you next week, and please let us know if you have any questions below in the comments. Thanks, guys.
Happy Friday.